Welcome everyone to Things Around 8. Dear friends, in this video we will talk about the strong Ukrainian advance through the Russian Kursk region, how Ukraine is managing to advance so much, and just as importantly, how far this advance can go. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any news. On Monday, August 12th, at a meeting of his general staff, the President of Ukraine, Volodymyr Zelensky, was informed by General Oleksandr Syrsky that his forces occupy about 1,000 square kilometers of Russian territory in the Kursk region. And also on Monday, August 12th, in a conference broadcast live, Alexei Smirnov, governor of Kursk, confirmed to Vladimir Putin that Ukraine controls 28 Russian localities and that 121,000 Russians have been evacuated from their homes. All this Ukrainian advance, carried out in just 6 days, raises very important questions. The first being, how did they manage to advance so much? And the second being, how far could this advance go? Regarding the first question, the main element was undoubtedly the surprise factor. Russia, and no one else, expected an invasion of Kursk with such force and momentum. When the first Ukrainian vehicles and armored vehicles were sighted in Kursk, the first conclusion reached was that it was a quick incursion led by groups of anti-Putin Russians. As happened on 3 other occasions between 2023 and 2024 in Bryansk and Belgorod. However, after a few days, it became clear that the Ukrainian force that had entered Kursk was much larger and composed mainly of Ukrainians, indicating that this was not a mere quick incursion by Russian dissidents, but rather a coordinated invasion action. Another element that helps to explain the Ukrainian advance is the nature of the Russian troops sent to contain this invasion. From the videos that reach us from that sector, we can see hundreds of Russian soldiers being captured, many of them inexperienced soldiers, with some even admitting that they were taken from training centers before the end of their training. Therefore, the combination of surprise and poorly trained and prepared troops helps to explain the rapid and strong Ukrainian advance through Kursk. This also shows that Vladimir Putin does not have an operational reserve force at his disposal, having been forced to resort to inexperienced soldiers who have not yet received full training. With this being confirmed, it becomes clear what has been suspected for some time, that Putin sent a large part of his armed forces to Ukraine, leaving very little left inside Russia, not even enough to completely block the invasion of Kursk. But the real strategic objective of this invasion is still a mystery, with President Zelensky saying only that the mission is to eliminate the positions from which the Russians launch attacks against Ukrainian territory. Therefore, the answer to the second question, how far this advance can go, is still open, as it will depend on many factors, some of which are completely beyond Ukraine's control, such as the Russian force deployed in the region. If Putin insists on sending only second or third line troops to Kursk, without experience and without full training, Ukraine will have to choose between continuing to advance or consolidating the positions it has already occupied. But if Putin decides to weaken other active sectors of his invasion and send first-line troops there, well-equipped, well-armed and above all, highly experienced in combat, then the Ukrainian invasion of Kursk will most likely come to an end quickly. But even in this scenario, Ukraine will achieve what it so badly wants, which is to weaken the Russian invasion force, facilitating concentrated offensive actions against the sectors that have been weakened the most. The Ukrainian invasion of Kursk is also acting as a personal insult to Putin. It is the first time Russia has been invaded since World War II, and it is the first time in history that a nuclear power has been invaded. All of this is certainly infuriating Putin, giving Ukraine another achievement in destabilizing the Russian leadership, even if only momentarily. It is obvious to everyone that Ukraine does not currently have the operational capacity to control territories inside Russia indefinitely. We know that sooner or later Ukraine will end up being expelled from that region. But when that happens, the Ukrainians will have achieved what they sought with this action, which was to weaken other sectors of the Russian front, destabilize the Russian leadership and hit Putin with a real slap in the face, showing the world and especially his opponents who lurk in the shadows of the Kremlin, that the self-proclaimed Russian Tsar is leading Russia into an increasingly costly and complex conflict, with an increasingly distant and uncertain end. And if you are not yet subscribed to the channel, subscribe now and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any news.